The next Snapchat you get may be me at the piano singing Lucky in the style of Ethel Merman. There's gonna be a lot of yelling.
I love when you send me those and I'm like looking, I'm like, this was sent 30 minutes ago and it's like 10:30 at night. I'm like, oh, Matthew is cooking on the piano tonight. I'm living for it. She's a star, everyone.
Oh,
Gosh.
welcome back to Oboe Slander, everybody, the podcast where these two oboists talk reads, gigs, and the double read drama you didn't know you needed. I'm Matthew.
And I'm LaBarrin. Episode 2, we didn't get canceled, so we're calling that a win.
I thought we might, but we didn't get canceled. Today, we're going to talk about how we met, our latest read experiments, some recent gigs, and the Oboe Gossip Corner, some big audition wins, and of course, our roast. Wind quintets are in the hot seat. If you like wind quintets, you may also cancel us. We'll see.
It's getting hot in the hot seat. So get comfortable, grab your favorite read knife, and let's get into it.
Let's tell the people how we met. Because for me, it was just like, oh, here's this other person that plays the oboe. So we got to like mutual follow, do our thing. And you would post your stuff and make all your little comments. And I am always very skeptical of people on the internet when they're being nice. I'm like, you are so fake. Um, and so then I was like, how fake is this person? And it's like, it's either that or it's like, they're actually nice. Are these people real?
Are we real? It's what do we know? We only know what we see on the internet, but
We were both seeing some very similar posts about Julianne Giacobassi and Deborah Workman and started taking screenshots and sharing them with each other and talking. And from there, our friendship just blossomed.
it just blossomed a beautiful rose of just both of us together in the same garden.
And then I know that when I kind of had the idea for this podcast, I was like, I don't want to do it alone. Who would do this with me? And I was like, LeBaron would 100% do this with me. And we'll just be catty all the time. But then I think we can also disagree. But have we ever disagreed? I don't know.
I feel like we don't disagree on things. I think we just have conversations and give our opinions, laugh, and move on to the next funny thing we see or say.
God, we do laugh and obnoxiously. And for way too long, it's constant.
It's a comedy show. What can you expect? We're that funny. Sorry.
Speaking of funny, tell me about how funny your reads are.
They are doing the funniest, goofy things because the weather here in Iowa has been going back and forth between being 60s one day and the next day, a nice warm high 70s. So I am just, all the reads I'm working on are not for myself. These are for my students. And so every day that they change, I just say a little prayer, hoping my students will make it through their all state auditions next weekend in one piece and won't come back crying about their reads. So they're just gonna be surprised when I'm done with these reads too. That's all I've got on that.
So my reads, I'm experimenting like I always am. I'm trying out those DNR Ostwich staples, and I have several that I got a long time ago and went, meh, whatever. And then I pulled them out again, and I was like, I wonder if I will like these this time. And I really am. And it's interesting because they feel very similar to what I'm used to, but they act very differently. Because I think what I'm more used to is kind of a small tip opening of the staple and then a kind of thin metal.
Mhm.
Whereas these have a very large opening at the tip, but the tube itself is thicker.
Yeah, just like
So
a
it feels similar because you're getting resistance from the thickness of the tube, but not all that much resistance from the opening. And then my Sierra tubes are kind of the opposite. But anyway, I'm kind of enjoying what they're doing for right now. By next week, I might be like, never mind, I hate these. Because I feel like that's when I discover these little things that's going to drive me crazy. So let me go back to the thing that I'm used to driving me crazy on the staples I'm used to.
exactly, and that's the curse of read making. We change one thing, it improves something, and then something else feels like it goes down. You're like, when do we win? The answer is never,
I
unfortunately.
know.
This is insanity, but hey,
Where is my perfect staple?
Where's my perfect staple? Where's the perfect cane? The reed? I don't say where's the perfect thread because I already have the perfect thread.
Oh,
About 50 different spools of perfect thread. So
we have our squirrely stashes, our vivid readings. That's all we need.
it's never ending. Just endless thread just showing up at the door.
I don't know if I mentioned this on the last one that my Inaletti had just come back. Did I talk about that last time?
I know you told me earlier in that week, but I still am excited that I
Well, if
can.
I did, I did, and if I didn't, I didn't. Y'all, my Inaletti came back. And it was really exciting, and I'm very happy to have it home. But
Yeah.
I got together with some other oboe players in the area, and my friend Jur, he uses a Cooney Bear machine. He's really good at adjusting them and like fiddling around. So he has his set up like exactly
Ooh,
how he wants it. So he gouged some pieces of cane on there for me, and I've made only 3 reeds with it so far. One of them, I just went, meh, no, and I killed it. I'm sure I did something to it. But then the other 2, I'm like, "These are really nice," to the point where well, I played one of them at my Bocelli concert last weekend. I was like, "This one feels
yeah.
really nice." And then the other one, I'm like, "It's almost there," and I just haven't gotten around to, like, cleaning it up.
Yeah. Let's give it a little time,
So,
you know.
I might be shopping for a Cooney Bear with money that I don't have anytime now.
Um, we love that part. I've been thinking about the Cooney Bear Gouger as well because 'cause I'm just like, I've had a couple really great reads on it, and I'm
Mhm.
a Ross girl, till the day I die. It was just an easy gouger for me to learn to use in my undergrad, and I think my brain just likes some people call it the archaic method of just like push, pull, cane, done,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, I've tried the Inaletti. I've you know, I've had my horror stories with it. I've had good reads on it too, but sometimes it's just not meant to be. So then you just stick with what you're good with.
Mhm. I will say, I think that's kind of the problem with the Inaletti is because it will gouge any piece of junk pretty much, is that you'll be like, "Oh, this is a fine piece of cane," and, like, the Ross gouger would throw it out, but the Inaletti is like, "Yep, I gouged that, no problem," and so then you're trying to make a read with it, and you're like, "Why is this so terrible?" But you just missed something that was weird about it, and I know you're a big fan of Celeste Johnson, and she uses the Cooney Bear.
I know. I know. I love her so much, and just hearing her episode on Retalk, I still think about it. I'm just like, "Do I need this gouger?" I'm like, "I think you need to pay those bills first before you get too invested." So, if anyone has a Koonie Bear out there, I'll send you cane and I'll pay you to gouge that for me. Live, laugh, love. Thanks in advance.
So I know I said something about my Bocelli gig. How have your gigs been
My
lately?
gigs have been, they've been gigging. The long week of just trying to go to work and then go to rehearsals and just the daily routine of that. But this past weekend was good. I had a concert in Waterloo, Cedar Falls. We did Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Have never done that one. If any of you are familiar with John Williams' movie score music, whether it's the scores or the suites, it hurts. Everything is loud and fast. And sometimes even when you're, like, watching you're not playing, you're, like, kind of watching, like, this reflection of the screen, like, out in the audience a little bit. A little distracting. I did miss a couple, like, group entrances with people because I was so locked in the movie, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be playing, like, a whole note here." No one's gonna know, but that's what I had this past weekend. It was really great, played with a lot of my friends, and those concerts just bring a lot of people to the venue, and I really love that because everyone's there excited, dressing up, and it just makes it worth it.
I totally agree. And so whenever I've done the Harry Potter movies, I can't see the screen at all.
Oh.
Like we are behind it, but it's not even like we can see a mirrored version of it. We just see black. And so then we see the strings sitting there turned around watching the movie the whole time. And we're like, oh, so unfair.
Yeah, the way some places have it set up, I'm just like, "Can I just be a little bit out just so I can just turn my head all the way around and look?" But
But that's me during ballet, though. Like, if I can see the stage, I'm just looking up there, watching
ugh,
because it's gorgeous to me.
It's just incredible, especially when it's when it's, the Nutcracker. They're like, "Oh, here they come. Here they go." Everything we all know the story of the Nutcracker, and it's just like, "Oh, this is what it sounds like," and now I get to see a little bit of it from the corner of my eye.
I actually did a little bit of adult ballet for a little I mean, like, I went to some ballet classes, like, at our cultural arts center, um,
Okay.
and I was terrified when I went, so I went, and I even told the teacher, I was like, "I have no clue what I'm doing," like, I never took as a kid, and I was like, "So, I'm just gonna, like, kinda stand behind everybody so that as you tell us to do our moves, I'm just gonna start copying what everyone's doing." And she
Wonderful.
was like, "Great, and I'm good if you don't mind, I'm gonna come and I might, like, correct some things that you're doing." And I was like, "Yes, please, tell me what I'm
Oh,
supposed to be doing." Um,
yes.
and so then she was like, "Oh my gosh, your bar work is really good for someone that has never done this. It's looking so good." And then we did the last 10 minutes was a little bit of just floor work, and we had to do these petite jetés across the floor, and I was like galloping, and she was
Galloping.
like, "Okay, so those weren't so good." And I was like, "Ugh."
Oh, no, it's
Um,
fine. It's
so
fine.
I did that for a couple of months, just kinda for funsies.
Love that. I think that's great, just to have other hobbies outside of playing the oboe and making reeds constantly like I do. I
I
think that's
know. Well,
great.
that and playing my computer games. I play a game called Smite, which is a MOBA, which is a multiplayer online battle arena, is what that stands
Oh.
for. So for a lot of people, I think they would know it as, like, League of Legends is probably the
Oh,
biggest
okay.
one.
Got
Yeah,
it, yeah.
so I've kind of been grinding on some ranked games, and I'm Platinum 1. I've almost made it to Diamond, um,
Come on.
which people are maybe like, "I have no idea what that means." I'm pleased with myself because I'm terrible. So I'm like, "How am I doing okay at this?"
Am I
Like
playing this? I am.
ugh, okay. So that's really my only other hobby, and I waste a lot of time like, sometimes because the games can last,
Ooh.
35 to 45 minutes. They can take a while.
You you're just playing around, and you hear the door open, you're just like, "I thought you left for work." Randall's like, "I just got back. I've been
Yeah.
gone for hours." You're like,
It
"That's crazy.
it
Sorry,
happens.
it's the best of us."
But anyway, so my gigs, like I said, I did a Bocelli gig this past Sunday. You were talking about Harry Potter bringing in a lot of people. Bocelli brought in, like, it completely filled up our Coliseum in Greensboro. We
Oh.
had, I think the mayor was there, a highfalutin. It was exciting. There was also somebody had, like, a little Whippet dog there, and I don't know who it belonged to, but I was like, "Oh my god, hi, I love you." And there are pictures of, I think, Andrea Bocelli's daughter playing with the Whippet, so that was very enjoyable to me, especially because everyone was trying to go and pet it, but it liked me. And I was
Right, you're
like,
like,
"Yes, yes, you do." The weekend before that, I played, with the Greensboro Symphony, and it was the most standard concert you can think of. It was Overture to the Barber of Seville, and then we did the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto, and then
"Yep.
we did Beethoven 5.
Oh, come on, bread and butter, right?"
Yes. All the dead white guys, but it was like, you know what? This was a good concert. We had a good because Masterworks can kinda be hit and miss as far as
Yeah,
crowds. This one brought in quite a few people, probably mostly for Beethoven 5. They were like, "Ooh,
right.
yay, I know that one."
And you're like, "Ooh,
Eh,
yeah, I've played this 12 times in the past 3 weeks." I
I
know.
think I've only played Beethoven 5 3 times.
Oh my gosh. Whoa. I've done it, like, at least 4. And and my thing is, like, I'll forget, and I'll be like, "Oh, I need to listen to this. Have I played this one yet?" And then I'm just like, "Yes, you have." Like, it's on your Spotify Wrapped because you listen to it so much to refresh your mind, and Spotify's listening, and it's like, "He really loves Beethoven 5. He should try Beethoven 3 instead of skipping it every time it comes on." Love a good standard concert that brings in everyone, the oldies and the goodies right there. Love that.
And then for some upcoming concerts, I'm playing with the Brevard Symphony for the first time. I auditioned with them this summer and was runner up for principal. And so, I mean, I'm playing second on the concert, but I'm still excited to that my audition meant something. that they
Yes.
actually called me to come play, and I was like, "Yay,
Exactly. That's
great."
yes. This is such great news.
And then let's see what else. I'm playing, like, with a university orchestra next weekend because they don't have a big music school,
Mhm.
so I'm just kinda helping to fill out the oboe section, which
Yeah.
is fine with me, and then the week after that is band music, so it's hard,
It's
and
yes. Like we've discussed before, it's hard, loud, fast, and the key changes are a little absurd. More than I liked them before.
it's so un-oboistic, a lot of the writing is, and I'm like, "Ugh, why? Why?"
Anti-oboe. There's too
Like,
many composers who are just like, "This is gonna be the flute part an octave down." And I'm like, "Low B flat can't come out that quickly and articulated, but I'm glad you want me to do 8 of them in a row."
so something else I got to do that was really exciting is I went to 2 master classes at UNCG. Courtney is very open with having the community come, and I really appreciate her doing that. So the first one was Alyssa Morris, who I love. I've met her a few times at IDRS, and gorgeous player, love her music. And then I've seen her do another master class at IDRS, and seeing her come and work with the kids, so fun, so great. And she was kind of doing her tour of North Carolina
Yes.
when she did that, and that was so fun. And then Alex Lidkey, who is now the principal oboe of the Montreal Symphony, came
Woo,
down and
congrats,
did one.
congrats.
Yes,
Yeah.
I worked with him a long time ago in the Fayetteville Symphony when he was principal, so it was like, "Oh, I knew him back when."
Yeah, it's a full circle moment, and you're just like, "Ah, look at us now."
I
I love
know.
that.
Alyssa Morris was working a lot with some of the younger students, and she did work with one of the doctoral students, but I went to help set up some refreshments halfway through that one. I was like, "Thanks for letting me come," and Courtney was like, "Let me put you to work," and I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
Right. She's like, "Free open to the public, but I will need help, if you will. Give me a
And I'm like,
second."
"Absolutely, these children are paying to see this."
Literally. Everyone deserves a fruit snack after this. Yes.
But so Alex only worked with 3 of the doctoral students, so I felt like a lot of what he had to say was a little bit more applicable to me
Yes.
and some of my playing, and he was doing it all, like, kind of from the audition perspective, because before Montreal,
Ooh.
he was, I think, assistant principal in Toronto, maybe, one of the other Canadian orchestras. So, some of the things he had to say, I was just like, "Oh my god, I love that," and it was so invigorating for me in that master class, and then he did a read class right after, and that was fun, and it was funny
Oh.
how shy everyone was to give him a read, and I was like, "If y'all don't go, I will." I was like, "I wanna make sure all of you that are paying to be in school here get to go first, but if you're not gonna go, Imma jump right in."
Exactly. Oh, I love that he did a read class. I feel like that's just another way to get to, like, know a guest artist and, like, how their brain works and everything outside of playing and, like, "Oh, this is how I'll how I would articulate this kind of, like, differently or whatever." But then it was, like, with the reads that you're, like, in their head, like, "Oh, this is me at my read desk," like, hours on end. And I love that you guys have the opportunity to do that.
And his reads are so different from mine, at least, and that was really fun to see because they are, so I know he uses a Brannon X. I don't know what staple he uses, but the reeds were pretty short, and because it's the Brannon X, they were really quite wide, and I tried to play on it on his oboe, and I was like, "This thing is a brick." I was like, "How do you do this?" And after, like, a minute, I was like, "Okay, so this is all about core engagement, like, a lot of it."
Oh,
And he
yeah.
went, "Well, we do play at 442." And he went, "And in general, the orchestra is just very loud, so I just have to play loud all the time."
Right.
And I
Okay,
was
that
like,
makes yeah.
"Okay, that all makes sense." And he puts more reed in his mouth than I do. I feel like my reeds are very Kilmer-esque in that the tip is a little bit longer, and I stay way out on the tip when I'm
Mhm.
playing, and he had a little bit more reed in his mouth. And I feel like that gives, like, that loudness a little bit more cushion.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know, but w I sounded terrible when I tried to play on his thing. Like, really, I felt like how middle schoolers feel when you give them one of our reads, and they're like, "It's so hard." And we're like, "No, it's not." That's how I felt a little bit, and I was just like,
Oh.
"Oh my gosh." But then he plays it and sounds phenomenal. I am never knocking people's reads unless they also don't sound good.
Right, I was like, "As long as it works for you and you sound great, girl, I have no quarrels or qualms with it. You better work."
And then you also went to a master class, didn't you?
Oh my gosh, I did. So my, friend Jenna Saman, she is the professor of oboe and music history at Stephen F. Austin State University in Texas. And we met because she was doing her doctorate when I started my master's at Iowa. And so we, kind of clicked instantly. We actually are kind of oboe sisters. She also plays a Howarth oboe that is the Coco Jazz with the plastic top
Mm,
joint and the Coca Cola like lower joint bell, but she has an XL and I have an LXV. But when we play together, we sound basically the same.
mhm.
We worked a lot before COVID together in like orchestra, and so we just became really good friends. She came to the University of Iowa this past Tuesday and did a master class and a recital, and it was really great. I had a lot of fun just, like, getting to just see her in her element of teaching because it's just when you see your friends, like, working, you're like, "This is different than how we normally are together." It was just nice to just hear her inspire the students and make them laugh and make the oboe seem less, like, scary and just, like, motivated them, and I think they all really enjoyed it and really just reciprocated well with her, and I just think she's amazing, and I love her, and her recital was great. It was a lot of her music was stuff that she did for her dissertation recording project, so it was short, sweet, and a lot of stuff that was focused on, books and stuff like that. So, it was a nice quick little visit, and I just love her so much. It's nice to see your friends, like it's like you said, how you're just like, "Yeah, just seeing Alex, like, where he is now versus when you, like, saw him before." It's just like one of those, like, "Look how much you've grown, and look how, like, I knew you before you were big," and now it's like
Look how you grew, and I stayed the same.
Never. We never stay the same. We're always moving, Matthew. Get that right and get that straight through your head, because baby, we're stars. In case you're wondering. If anyone forgot, we are stars, so period.
So, in the last episode, we said we were going to talk about some different auditions that have happened. Jordan Pyle won the audition for second and assistant principal oboe of the Colorado Symphony. I tried to find some information about her and didn't get too far, but I know she makes reeds for MKL. A long time ago, I used to get reeds from them when I had two broken arms and it was hard for me to make reeds.
2 broken arms. All
I
right.
know I was still holding the oboe like this, but it was terrible. At the
All
time, I was
right.
like, "Reed making is just too much."
We're making just not I think we can let that one slide this time.
But truly, that job in the Colorado Symphony would be a dream job for me because, number 1, we could live in Colorado, great place. We would be right close to my husband's best friend, and they're both attorneys in Denver. And so, since he's also an attorney, good connections there. I would get to work with Peter Cooper, and that would, for me, be absolutely incredible.
That would be the best for you. Your best life. Jordan's living your best life right now. Congratulations, Jordan. Love that.
Another big audition win was Katerina Kotokville, and to everyone, I'm so sorry if I butchered that pronunciation because I very well may have, but she is the second oboe of the Vienna Philharmonic now, and I think she is the first female ever to be in the oboe section, which is a really big deal.
Woo, 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 woo. Yes. Ugh, ladies, get it done.
Let's
We
get
love to
more
see
of that.
it. Please, I'm begging.
And then we had Peter Davies win every audition in America.
He's on a tour, in case you guys are wondering. An audition for.
I know a lot of these happened over the summer or even at the end of last year, but so he won second oboe here in North Carolina with the North Carolina Symphony. He won second in Chicago, and then I think it's co-principal with the Met. I think they have two principals.
Mhm.
and I think he ended up taking the job with the Met, but it's just like, you could have taken any of those jobs, and wow, phenomenal.
His eyes were set right on the Met there. Oh, that's incredible. Like,
He looks like he's 7.
he's so young, and yet I'm just like, "Oh, okay. You're literally an adult." Like, you're an adult, and I love that. You just ugh, the amount of reads he probably played through,
Oh,
the
I
amount of people he
know.
probably played for, and just, like, just to go audition to audition to audition. Oof. The audition circuit, it's a nightmare. It
It
hurts, and
really is. This is not an audition win, but Spencer Rubin is playing with the National Symphony this week, our favorite oboe influencer.
superstar. Speaking of young oboists,
I
there's our
know.
Spencer, just casually just hanging out, from Aspen right up on up. Keeps going. Mm.
Now we're coming to a section where we're gonna do a fun little roast, and I'm just gonna let LaBarrin go off.
Oh boy. Get the fork and get the knife. The roast has just hit the table. So, my roast I want to focus on this week, some people, you might hate me for this. You might want to cancel me. Do whatever you got to do. But this is my beef that I have. Wind quintets. I I just think, at least like from what I've experienced in my undergrad and like through my master's program, everyone has to do chamber music at some point. And a lot of the times whenever there's oboists there, everyone's like, quick, let's do a woodwind quintet. Everyone wants to do a woodwind quintet because they're like, it's more people, there's a lot more like rep written for that instrumentation, and I just never got into it. I never really liked it, and it's the music, like, a lot of people play the same things. I'm always hearing like the summer music, Hindemith, Valerie Coleman, all of it's great music, but for me, it's just not the vibe, and I just find it to be challenging a lot of the time, mostly with scheduling, just trying to get people to get schedules with that, like, especially when you're in school, because everyone has classes, and especially when people are doing it in their, like, undergrad. And they're like, "Oh, I have a bunch of gen eds I have to do, and extracurricular classes and other things that they're doing for other majors," and it's just trying to schedule, and all of a sudden, we've agreed upon a rehearsal at, like, 8 a.m. for an hour, like, 20 minutes, and then hope it goes well. So, yeah, I just find the scheduling part of it can be a little chaotic, and especially if, like, your teachers put the groups together with their students, it's kind of like forcing you to be with people that you have not met or worked well with yet, and you may only know these people through ensembles at school, like orchestra or band or, other things that you guys might do in the community, but you just never know which personalities are gonna clash and which ones aren't until it's down to the wire of a performance, and people react different to stress and long hours in the day. People just act different and do different things, and so that's, like, some things that you can expect, working with people in general in closed spaces and just for long periods of time, and, sometimes, like, you might feel that way in orchestras, but for me, I feel that a lot when it's in chamber music because it's very intimate music. You're working with people that, everyone's playing the entire time, and, people get exhausted, and sometimes people can even, like, get a little snappy, and then I don't know. I think it's just not for me. It's just not for me, and I think if you love it, live your life. I live, laugh, love it for you, but don't put it on me. Don't put it in front of me. Don't bring it to my house. You leave it at the door, girl, or you're staying outside of the threshold. 'Cause it's just a little bit much. It's just a bit much, and I just wanna know, like, why are we always the tuning note? Why is the oboe always the tuning note for that? I feel like, especially in chamber music, it's just very easy for it to just be everywhere with the intonation. I know it's 5 people, and yet, I don't know. It's just not it's not for me.
That's fair. So, why do you call it a woodwind quintet instead of a wind quintet? I know that, people use both all the time, and actually the quintet that I'm in that we go around and play at, different schools in the area, we always tell the kids it's a woodwind quintet, but I was always taught that that's a misnomer and that it's actually a wind quintet. So, I'm not trying to be like, "Mhm, are you calling it the right thing?" I'm genuinely curious.
That's just what I've been told. That's what I've been told to call it, and it is a confusing question, and it's, very real and valid because there's a horn player right there. You're just and they're just like,
Yes.
"Hi," and getting those groups together and trying to find a horn player that can handle it that isn't already in a brass quintet is, like, stressful enough because they have that sometimes I think they think they call it, like, a luxury to be like, "I can be in both," when in reality, I'm like, I feel like that would be kind of a lot to, like, try to manage because some people do both, and I'm like, so the rep is extremely difficult for both ensembles and just, like, the timbre of everything of, like, all brass versus, like, a bassoon and an oboe playing with you. Just
Mhm. I know that our horn player always is like he even tells the kids that he's playing much softer in a wind quintet
Mhm,
than he does pretty much anywhere else. And really one of the things I think I like about wind quintets is all of the different timbres that are happening all
mhm.
the time. But then it can also make it a little bit hard to really blend. Like I think I love a reed trio because like yes, you have that one single reed in there, but it's a much more cohesive sound.
Yes.
I kinda think those are more fun than wind quintets. So, I am also not knocking the wind quintet. I play in one. I play bassoon in another. Um,
There you have it, folks.
yes,
The more you know.
but it's very different from playing with other chamber groups. And
Yes.
you were talking about the oboe doing the tuning. Our wind quintet, we actually never tune.
Oh,
We just
yes,
get to the school, we warm up, and then we start the show. And we just kind
they
of trust that all of us are gonna be close enough to in tune that we'll figure it out.
should figure it out, you know? Yeah, it's sometimes you just have to do that, and that's the trust aspect of the groups that I'm just like, it could be a hit or miss. Some people can be a little resistant with, like, tuning, all
Mhm.
wanting to, like, move and be flexible with what's going on, and, surprisingly to some people, the oboes, sometimes we are very flexible and can try to do what we can, but, like, there's only so much we can bend before, like a piece of cane, we snap. So,
Yes. Isn't
yeah.
that the truth? I find it easier to push the pitch down than to push it up. Do you find it similar, or are you the opposite?
Yeah, I find it really hard to try to, like, push the pitch up. I've, like, had to go through I went through an embouchure change in my undergrad, and so, like, my jaw is always down, my throat is always open,
Mhm.
and except, when you're playing, like, 20 measures and there's nowhere to stop, and you're like, "I guess I'm just gonna keep going until the end," but, yeah, trying to just to get it to go up, but I'm just like, "This is teeth on the reed, I don't think we're gonna make it. I don't think I can
Yeah.
do this." Yeah, no way, but mm. All of that being said, all my ranting about that and my 2 of my, like, 3-degree recitals that I've given, I did trios. I did a reed trio in my undergrad, and then for my master's, I did a trio for oboe, bassoon, and piano. I was like that's when I realized, "Oh, I actually enjoy trios a lot more because I think scheduling 3 people to get together to play and the music, like there's lots of stuff out there that I have not heard, like, for that instrumentation that I'm like, "Oh, there's more outside the Poulenc trio? There
I don't
is.
think so.
Well
That's
well, you
it.
know what?
That's it.
That's okay because 'cause you're a double agent. You're just gonna
Mm.
you're running around over here just dipping your toe in both pools of water, and I'm just archaic and sticking with one, so I love that for you. Live, laugh, love your life.
Actually, someone in undergrad, there was, I did the Poulenc trio, and then someone else did it a few years later, and I did, a little bit of accompanying in college, and it was
Ooh,
mostly just like, "You're gonna get what you pay for." because I'm not gonna charge you anything. So it's not gonna be great, and, like, I don't wanna play on your recital, but I'll get you through, like, your jury or
Right,
whatever,
yeah.
and
Just
then and typically, I would if it got hard like, if it was an orchestral reduction, I was like, "Absolutely not,"
oh
unless
god.
it was, like, some easy Mozart or Haydn-y things, like, some
Yeah.
I can kinda get through or some Handel, I'm like, "I'll get through this,"
Oh,
um,
yes, yes.
but someone asked me if I would do the Poulenc trio with them on piano, and I was like, "No, absolutely not. Are you kidding me? Like, that's hard for good piano players."
Like, that's terrifying.
I I looked at it not too long ago and was like, "I can't get through the first line of this."
No. No, I just all of that said, we to the piano players out there who accompany us and join us on stage that take on these daring pieces, thank you. Thank you for taking
Truly.
bullets that we are shooting at you somehow. Somehow we are getting hit with our own bullets and shooting them at you. So thanks for being there on those rides. Woo-wee.
So what would you say your favorite type of chamber music is and the configuration?
Ugh, I like trios. I think it's just fun and easier that way. It's intimate, and I fine, I'll say it. I've had good experiences in trios, and things are fun that way. So there.
What kind
Yes.
of trio or just any trio?
Ugh, I feel like any trio. I know, and when I the first one I did was a reed trio. That in my senior recital. The Sequoia Trio by Jenny Brandon, a phenomenal piece. Oh, so fun, so jazzy. And then in my master's, I did bassoon, oboe, and piano. We did the Grand Vol trio, which was fun. I had not heard of that piece or that composer. Her music is like being discovered almost like daily at this point, and I just loved it. And I think three is not a crowd. Three is a party. So yeah, trios all around. What about you, Matthew? What what's your vibe here?
I love a reed trio. I think I kinda said that before, but I really do love them, and I'm excited because this coming summer, we're doing a chamber concert somewhere for a part of their chamber series of a reed trio, and, like, we get to pick all the rep and everything, so I'm
Oh, that's so
excited
fun.
to do that
Oh,
because I haven't played in a reed trio in so long.
am I making a trip to North Carolina this summer? I think I am. Do you guys hear
Yes,
that plane? That's
um,
me getting on the plane. We're
I
get buckle up, everyone. We're going to see Matthew perform. Reed trio.
I named us Trio Arundo because they were like, "We need a name," and I was like, "Okay, here we go, something easy and nerdy."
Perfect. And everyone's gonna be like, ooh, it's so like it like that reminds me of like wine for some reason.
It's so fetch.
Yes, we're gonna make fetch happen.
The kids aren't gonna get that one.
They're not gonna get it, and then they'll roll their eyes.
We would love to hear what all of your favorite chamber groups are to play in, so you can reach out to us on Instagram at Oboe Slander. You can email us at oboslanderqueens@gmail.com or on TikTok at oboe.slander. We finally have all these things set up just so that you can reach out to us. And actually, we do have a Facebook, but I've done a terrible job promoting that one because for some reason, Facebook is harder than everywhere else.
You would think it would be a little easier, and yet here we are. The uphill battle of Facebook. It's fine. Everyone loves Instagram and TikTok anyways, so get into it.
That wraps up episode 2 of Oboe Slander. Thanks for hanging out with us while we talked reads, gigs, and a little bit of chaos.
If you liked what you heard, follow us on socials for updates, or you can send us your wild oboe stories. We might even read them on this show.
We'll be back soon with another episode, but until then,
Thanks for slandering responsibly.